Right, hi there, welcome to this Ableton Live quick tips. I think this one's number 5, if I've got my counting right. So yeah, this one's going to be all about a bit of sort of a workflow time-saving thing on drum racks, but also a couple of new features on push, which are on push 1 and push 2 on the 9.7 update, which, to be quite honest, I didn't realise was there. I'll talk a little bit about that in a second. So what I thought, the first bit we're going to do is just have a sort of a look at custom drum racks, building your own drum rack, and saving it and so on. So if you're anything like me, I spend a hell of a lot of time, right? When I'm writing a song, I spend way too much time loading kick drums, don't like that one, load another kick drum in and so on. So what I thought was that try and find a quicker way of going through my kick drum library without having to keep going into the browser, you know, so I'm not going in here and then sort of auditioning that one, bringing that in, don't like that, auditioning that one. So the way I do it is I will build a custom drum rack of all my kick drums, and over time that will develop and you will put your favorite ones in, and then you might have like your own drum rack of, I don't know, 16 favorite kick sounds that you might use that you can then easily access. So this is not specific to push 1 or push 2 or even having push at all. I'm going to do it from push just because it's a little bit easier to navigate, but you don't need push to do this. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to load need a MIDI track first. We're going to do a MIDI track, and I'm going to just put on it an empty drum rack. Okay, so I'm just doing this from push, as you can see from the camera here. But if you're looking on screen, you'll see we now have an empty drum rack, okay, with no sounds at all in there. So if you've got a folder of kick drums, I mean, I've got loads on here. I've got some down here in my packs here. All I'm going to do for now is I'm just going to take the drum hits I've got that are in my drum hits library. Okay, and I'm going to go just into the kick folder. Now, you don't need to load these in one at a time into here. You can load as many in as you can have on here. So let's just load a load in. Right, so I'm going to just take the top one. I'm going to scroll down, hit shift, and then press the bottom one. That's going to highlight them all. And then I'm just going to, let go of shift too soon. You've got to keep holding down on shift. Let's try again. We're going to go from there. Let's go all the way down to there. Okay, holding on shift, and then, no, hang on. Let's try again. I'm not going to edit this out because stuff happens. Right. Shift. And then that doesn't want to let me do it for some reason. Why not? Why not let me do it? Drum rack. Come on. Okay, this worked fine a minute ago. Right, I'm just going to pause the video for a second and then I'll come back and work out why it's not flipping working. Right, hold on, be back in a second. Right, okay, I'm back. Right, I've worked out the problem was it appeared that I had too many selected. Obviously, there is a limit on the amount you can select and drag in one go, but you can still put quite a lot in. So I've got all of these highlighted at the moment, so I'm just going to stick those in for now. So once you've got them highlighted, just drag them in, drop them in on the bottom one, and it will put each of those into a separate slot in the drum rack. So you can see push is now changed to show me that I've got all these drum sounds in. Okay, I've got all those kick drums in there. And on screen we can see we've filled up this bank here and we've filled up part of that bank as well. So I now have all my kick drums. So if I'm writing a song, let's just start off with, I'm going to put a basic just quarter note kick on the first kick drum sound I've got. So it's going to go right down to the bottom. Oh, what am I doing? Try again. Sorry, I pressed undo instead of duplicate. Right, let's try again. Let's go and do it in quarters, just so I can click. There we go. Right, correct button this time. Right, so I'm going to start just like a 4th floor kick. So let's say I've got loads of other stuff playing with this and I'm auditioning my kick drum. So as I play that clip, okay, all I need to do is if you just highlight that, and then on the arrow buttons on your keyboard, on your computer keyboard, you can just quickly go through them. So you can audition those kits as you are writing your track. Okay, so one you like, and then you've got it in there. Okay, so and then obviously you might want to get rid of all the other stuff, but I wouldn't. You can leave it in there. Okay, so an easy way of just scrolling through all your kick drums. What I would suggest then, once you've built your rack, you can of course save it. So just clicking on the button here, the little save thing, and then you can save it obviously wherever you want it, call it whatever you want it, and then you have your nice own built custom drum rack of kick drums. You can do the same thing with snare drums, hi-hats and so on. So it's a quick and easy way of auditioning through your drum sounds, and it does save quite a lot of time. I use it quite a lot doing that. So just a few things just on push on the display. Obviously a thing that came up that's been around for a while is obviously you can fill, because originally that's the standard layout, drum rack layout. You've got your drum sounds down here, so you could have had 16. You've got your bars section over here, and obviously you've got your step sequencing section up here. Now if you kind of want a bit more of a performance thing, what you can do is if you press, it's on, on push 1 you would press note, okay, and on push 2 you press layout. I'm going to come back to that layout in a second. So this layout, we can now have, you can see it's now got all of my drum pads that I've put in. So we can fill all of this up, so you can have up to 64 different sounds on here. So obviously it doesn't have to be one kind of sound, it can be anything. So that's great for a performance point of view if you want to load a load of sounds in there. Obviously if you're in your normal step sequencing mode, we've got the ribbon thing down here where you can scroll up, and there's my second group of 16, and there's my first group, and obviously there's nothing on that one. And you can change the layout slightly on that as well, depending on where you do it. You can position those pads around there. So that's quite a useful thing. You may already know that. A lot of people obviously will already know that. If you already know it, don't moan at me about it. Just don't watch the video, okay? If you know this stuff and you already know it, don't watch it, because a lot of this is aimed at beginners and some of it is more advanced stuff. Now, one final thing that I didn't realise that is in the recent update, because I tend to not bother to read through all the update notes. I'll kind of watch a few videos and whatever, which I suppose I should, because then I know exactly what's coming in the update. But they've changed this thing where if you press on push 1, you press note twice, and on push 2 you press layout. So we have 3 layouts now, okay, for our drums. We've got the standard original layout with your drum rack there, step sequencing section there, and your bars section there. We've got the bit I've just talked about where you can fill all the pads up with the sound, so that gets rid of the bars section of the step sequencing. But we then have this new one, which is still part of the step sequencer. So we've still got the step sequencing capabilities along the top, okay, which I've just put in there. I'm just going to get rid of those because I don't want that to play. But down here we now have these kind of pads that play the drums at different velocities, which are great for doing sort of build up drum fills, particularly on a snare drum. So let's just going to load a snare drum in. That'll do. Okay, so we've now got the snare drum in there. Obviously the pads are velocity sensitive anyway, so you can you can play them like that, and obviously on the repeat function you can do that. But what we have here is we have 4 different volumes as you go up. So if you want to do a little build-up fill, let's say we're playing 8th notes, it's an easy way, particularly for finger drummers, if that's what you want to call yourself, rather than having to do it on there, we can do it on here. And it's a nice even build-up. Obviously if you were doing like 16ths with... So at first I thought, yeah, it's a bit of a gimmick, but it actually is very useful. I've used this quite a lot. And let's just record something, because we'll see what the velocities are on each one. So that's the bottom row, second row, third row, fourth row, more like that. Okay, and I just realised I've completely stuffed that up, because I've still got... Right, let's try it again. We'll go again. So we've got... don't know why I've randomly got a kick drum playing in there. I don't know why. Some weird MIDI thing. Right, so where are my snare drum hits? Down the bottom. So let's zoom in on that. Right, I don't know why they were all playing. I think, oh, I know why. It's because it's picking up MIDI from the other stuff. Everything starts playing when I start playing. Right, I was going to change the MIDI settings because that's not going to help us because we can't see. This is why. Okay, so if you've got a load of external hardware, what it was doing, it was picking up MIDI from the, because I got the all-ins set on here, so it's picking up a load of MIDI from my hardware. So if I set that just to push, that should eliminate that problem. Right, let's try that one again. So what I'll do is, well, they're all the same. So I'm just going to do one bar, and we'll just see what... Oh dear, get the right drum. Come on. Let's do fixed length. One bar. There we go. Right, we'll get it right this time. Honest. Snare drum. Right. So these pads aren't velocity sensitive. So let's say it's kind of like however hard you hit them, it's going to just do that same velocity. Whereas with these, okay, you got a bit more control. So, but I think it's quite useful. So there are our notes. So you can see that there are our velocities. So we're starting off, yeah, just kind of going up. That one's not very long, is it? There is a note in there. Yeah. So let's just get that a bit bigger so we can see what we've got. So this one's around about 8. That's kind of around about 40. Then we're at about mid-70s, and then we're up to about 100. So you can actually get, obviously, on there as well. So anyway, yeah, it's a good way of just kind of doing a little build-up fills, which we all like to have in our songs. So hopefully that's a bit of use. Yeah, sorry I kept going wrong, but hey, you know, I go wrong all the time. Don't worry about going wrong. It happens. Okay. I hope you enjoyed that. If you've got any questions, you know what to do. Leave them in the comments. I will try and answer as many as I can. I can't guarantee I will answer everyone's questions, but I will certainly try. If you like what I do, please like and subscribe. Share the videos around. Watch my other music and so on. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.